Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Uncovered, the podcast where we speak with community members about community topics. This is produced by TVC22, and I'm your host, Bruce de la Cruz. Today we are talking about the virtual programming done at the library. Today we're speaking with Robin Barré, the program coordinator at the library. How are you, Robin?
I'm very good. Thanks, Bruce, for having me here.
Of course, anytime. Robin, I think I'd like to start just by asking your personal history at the library.
Well, I haven't been with the library super long. I got hired on 5 years ago when the library was looking to expand their programming, more so for the adults. So I started part-time 5 years ago with the library, and I've been loving it since then.
Experience did you have before joining the library?
Well, I've done a lot of, program management. I actually went to college in early childhood education and never really went into it. I worked at the Ottawa Hospital for over 10 years coordinating the volunteer program there. I really did like my job there because we worked all over the hospital. It's a teaching hospital, so our volunteers were everywhere from the birthing units to the cancer centers to the rehab to we even had students in the morgues. So I really got to learn a little bit about everything at the hospital. But it was a demanding job, and I had a young family at the time. So uh, I took a break from work for about 3 years, I would say. And then my husband and I made the decision to go back to work part time so I could still take care of the family and that. So when this job posting came up, I said it's perfect. The kids are back in school, and I'm ready to get my feet wet a little bit. So I've always done a lot of programming and organizing. So and
Uh, could
I'm
you,
big in the community, so it just felt right.
right. Could you explain a little bit more the programming that you did at the hospital?
Yeah. So at the hospital, there's different campuses, and I work mainly at the rehabilitation center, just behind the general, and the cancer center. I manage the programs there. Uh, and like I said, we had thousands of volunteers, from shop volunteers to information desk volunteers to uh, greeting greeting patients coming in at the cancer centers. At the rehabilitation center, it was also a therapeutic program, our volunteer program. So we had a lot of patients that come in and would it's kind of a bit of a back to work program. But the students, our main numbers were students going into some sort of schooling in the health field.
Okay, I see. Going back a little bit, when you said the time was right to start at the library, what was the main reason that you wanted to start working at the library? What was the big change?
Well, I have to admit, one of my girlfriends works there, Tanya. She's our communications and our acquisitions coordinator. She's a great friend of mine, and she had been talking to me about the position, and she said, you'd be such a great fit. And I wasn't ready at first when she had started talking about it, but then when the posting came up and I read the position, and even during the interview and getting to know everybody, it just felt right. It's a very family oriented. Katharina, who's the CEO, she's very, you know, she takes her job seriously, but she's also, very mild mannered, she's very family oriented herself. So I knew that my values were the same as the library.
Okay, I see. And what kind of values would those be?
Just genuine, family oriented, as mentioned. We all work hard, but we all support each other. We all have different roles. And again, we know what our strengths are and what they're not. I'll be the first to admit that, I can't remember an author's name to save my life, even though I love them. But we have great staff like Emma and Dan and that basically know the library inside and out, and Tanya, of course, and Danielle, who do a lot with the books. They as well. Like if I have, I'm asked for book selections, I'll go to them, and they're always ready. It's just so easy. It's an easy job. It's in the sense that nobody's there to judge. It's just there's no politics really, so it's nice.
So what you're saying, it almost feels like a family, basically.
Yes, yeah, no, it does. And in preparation for today, I was speaking with Katharina, and one term that she used that I really like is that at the library, her feel is that it becomes like a community family room. And the family room to me is, a place that you go and you just relax, and, you can just talk with your family openly, and, it's comfy, and that's really our goal at the library for ourselves, but also people coming in.
I see. I think we'll talk about that a little bit further into the interview. But right now, I would like to know what your job title kind of entails as the program coordinator.
Okay, so I started off as the adult program coordinator, and it was part time. And I would say about 2 years ago, we had Nancy, who was our children's coordinator for many years, retire, and took on Kayla. So when that came on, because our children programming is fairly heavy, a lot of you know the community just eats up anything that we do family oriented or kid oriented. So they sort of, Katharina decided to split the positions up. So I've taken on the teen and the adults, and I've become a full-time staff person. So now that's it. My goal is to entertain and to educate our teens and adults in our community. And when I say adults, it's up to our seniors. So we're everywhere. We'll talk a little bit more, I think, about types of programming that we have, but
Mhm.
it's a nice variety, and I think that's what's fun about the job in programming is that there's that big age gap, but some of our activities we can bring into one, and have our younger population and our adults, mix. So it's fun.
It sounds like you're doing really well in that job. One quick question. Sorry. So, do you come up with programming all by yourself, or do you come up with all the ideas, or are you just in charge of kind of planning, scheduling?
So I mainly come up, like I do the teens and the adults. So I mainly come up with the activities for those and implement them. I do get help, again, especially with the teen programming, because I'm not, you know, ancient, but I'm not in the know of what's going on. So I really do have a pool of teens that help me out. I mean, I have two teenagers at home as well. So I now kind of always have my ears open to what's cool and what's not, and try to keep up with it. But it's a lot of research. People would be surprised. I go online a lot. So I'm looking at what's trending, what's not, and it's really also listening. And I think that's the main thing. I mean, with the teens, you can go online and see what's trending, but with the adults, it's really listening to what your community wants, doing some outreach, and just, observing and listening to your coworkers, because, they get a lot of feedback from our clients, and so listen and learn, and then you can offer some great services.
Okay, I see. So, could you describe some of the programs that are on the virtual website right now?
Yeah, right now, well, the kids program, we still have our story times once a week, and they've been going fairly well. Um, and like I said, children's programming is such a need in any area, really. So it always does very well. Um, but for me, with the the teens have been hard during the pandemic and doing virtual stuff. A lot of it is more on Instagram, and it's more like posts and things like that. Funny recipes. Like on Wednesday is National Superhero Day, so we'll be doing a whole bunch of stuff on superheroes. Back and forth questions. Who's your favorite superhero? And things like that. But for our adult programming, we have what we call Tech Cafe, which is it's in collaborations with Alpha Numérique. So it's for our French population. They can sign up and take courses on how to manage your iPad or your device, basically. So that's a great one going on. We have our book clubs. We've had scavenger hunts. We also have workouts and yoga sessions that people can always go on. But we're also offering right now, we just finished our English session of personal life management, but now we're doing the gestion de la vie. It's things like that. We have meditation, mindful meditation coming up. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. I always encourage people to sign up to get on our Facebook or Instagram, because then you would get all of our activities that are going on. And I'd like to just mention that most of our activities, pretty much all of our activities, are free of charge or come at a very, very minimal cost. So it's accessible to everybody.
I think I did see the story time on Facebook during my research for the children. And I'd have to say that I did enjoy the book that you were reading, although it was targeted as kids, but it was still enjoyable.
Yeah, no, right now, Dan and Katharina are doing the story time because our program coordinator, Kayla, is on mat leave. She had a little girl a couple of weeks ago. So shout out to her.
Congrats on her. Yes. Moving forward, how successful has the transition been for these programs into a more virtual setting?
At the beginning, I have to admit, it was tough. I'm not the most techie person, so I had a lot of learning on that front to do. And it was just to get into it. We didn't think it was going to last as long as it has, but so it's a lot of adjusting. Some programs have done better than others. Again, the kids programming has done better, or is pretty much maintained, I should say. But our adult programming, I would say, took a bit of a hit at the beginning, but we're slowly coming in. We're listening again to what our community wants, and we're offering it. I think the biggest challenge is getting the word out that we are offering these programs, and people having to check in regularly just to see what is going on. But we have some great things like genealogy. And these are all links on our website, I should say. But genealogy, our ebooks, they've all kind of maintained their numbers. We try to keep it spicy and interesting. So
Yeah, I see.
about it.
So
One thing the pandemic has brought, though, is we're lucky because, and this is something that I'm going to be looking into a lot, is we've been communicating with other libraries, and it's much easier than having to travel to go see them. We're doing it all through Zoom, which was the second thought at first. But libraries don't have the biggest budgets, so a lot of the times we weren't able to get in some of the big authors or speakers. But now that it's all done through Zoom and they can do it remotely wherever they are, it's become a little bit more affordable. So we're hoping to have more, authors and just guest speakers to come in and give us some virtual interviews.
And guest speakers, what would they be talking about?
We have all sorts of things. I mean, we've had, sorry, the French word is in my brain, les clairvoyantes. So, no, why won't it come to me? Like mediums and, but also, just people speaking about like physiotherapists coming in, we get a lot of demand for like health, for health. So physiotherapists, some doctors. We could have, um, it's mainly authors that a lot of our patrons are looking for. So we're looking at some big authors to come in and give us. We were supposed to do a Louise Penny tour just before the pandemic, so I'm hoping to have Louise Penny, Suzanne Aubry, some of these authors come in and give us some lectures or presentations.
I see. So would they be giving writing tips and just some history on how they got into publishing?
Yeah, a lot of them, that's what they'll speak about is mainly how they came into the profession, challenges that they had, and their writing style, how, a bit about their biography and things like that. Yeah. But they're very open to questions. And when you have that open interaction, it's actually really cool where they come up with their ideas and stuff like that.
I see. Being the program coordinator, what would you say is your favorite program, and which one have you learned from the most?
Uh, my favorite program. Uh, I love my book club. Um, and we meet once a month, and I always look forward to it. I actually wrote to the gang last week saying, I thought it was this week. And, but, because I always look forward to my book clubs. It's just a great gang of people. But and for teens, it's just seeing them come in and do like the odd programming that we'll throw on the table. But so I haven't really. We've been doing these activity bags. So what it is it's a week's worth of activities. Well, I should say. This last one that we had was for March break, so it was a 1 week activity bag, and the response that we get from that and the pictures that we get back from the teens doing the activities is great. So I have to say for that age group, that would be my pride and joy. And then and thinking up all these activity ideas. And I just do want to put a shout out to Alex and Olivia, Amber, and Casey, who helped me out last year for the teen program. I hope they're doing well in school because without them, and their energy in that, it wouldn't have been as successful. And I'm hoping to see them again this year. But so that's my teen program. But for my adult program, I really do love my book clubs, and I do miss seeing, the bridge group. Every activity is fun, to tell you the truth. I'm a very social person, so it just has different aspects. And I miss doing our mobile library. We have a mobile library that goes into old age homes. Once a month, we rotate between old age homes all over Clarence-Rockland, and they really benefit from our visits. And we were just starting to do in-house programming as well with them, and seem to really be enjoying that as well.
I see. Uh, Going back a little bit, you said that being a sociable person was really helpful in the job. Could you go into a little more detail?
Hmm. I have to say, for me, this is the biggest challenge of working from home and doing everything virtually, um, is not seeing the people, and just interacting with them, and you feed off of their of them. Like the teens, they just have so much energy, and um, you know, the last time we had like so much going on was during exam weeks prior to pandemic. So, they would come down at lunchtime, and it was just fun to have them there and listen to them, and and seeing them enjoy the activities or the lunch we were having. So I feed off of that as well. So it just inspires me to want to do more. And then with our adults as well, and mainly our seniors, it's to see them get out, make that effort to get out, even if it's not the nicest day, to be with their friends or their group, and doing these activities. But it could also be like, at Christmas time, or if we're doing an activity such as card making and stuff like that, there's moms that come in and they're alone, like so they're in their time and their private time, and you can see how they cherish it, and totally understand them. So it's just nice that we're able to offer that.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, perfect. Going. What is the main purpose of the programs here at the library, just in general?
In general, it's just to be a hub for people to come, and it's a leisure thing as well. We want them to come and not feel like they have to give anything, they have to do anything special. They're coming for themselves. It's a personal learning, or it's personal growth, or just mental break from everything going on. There's no expectations. It's very easy, and I think that's, we noticed that there was a need for that in our community. Just a place to come, feel safe, and and like I said, not judged, not nothing, just come and hang out. And you can get a book if you want, but if you don't want a book, we're not all about books. We're all about a lot more. So just, to me, that's just the nice part. It's a relaxed atmosphere.
Okay. I didn't grow up in Rockland, but I did go to my home library a lot, and I can say that I did feel that shift from the library being a place of just reading books to being a more community hub, as you were saying. When did that happen in Rockland?
Well, about 6 years ago, I would say our child programmer at the time, Nancy, had gone to Toronto for with Souls. We every year we usually go there and get some fresh ideas, and it was really to change the thinking of libraries to more of a community center type feel, and add, like, just even the furniture in libraries, more couches, soft materials. I'm saying it, and people are probably like, oh, okay, but it does change the feel of a space and makes it much more welcoming. So our goal with our programming is to really offer that feel to people. And as I mentioned, there still is a need in the Clarence-Rockland area. So going back to your question from back in the day, borrowing books, we had to evolve, because it's not just about that anymore. People are not just looking about that for that. We even had to expand on our electronic books. We're a bilingual community, so we had to keep, a good variety in both languages. It's just keeping it interesting and like I said, listening to our community and seeing what they want, and hopefully we can offer it to them.
Perfect. Robin, I think we are at the end of our time. I want to thank you for coming on again, and for speaking with us. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thanks, Bruce. And although we are all, people who like reading books, we do really miss our patrons, our regulars, and the new people coming into the library. So we are looking forward to opening up as soon as possible.
Perfect.
But thank you for having me, Bruce.
Yes, of course. And I want to say thank you again for all those tuning in. My name is Bruce Cruz for TVC22. Please check out our YouTube channel and our Facebook page. Thank you. Have a good night.